Hey everyone, Lynn Marie here. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to this week's Quit of the Week, which is quit fighting against your environment. Now this came to mind because this morning I started a book that my coach, Colette Davenport, recommended a while ago. It's called Willpower Doesn't Work. And the very first chapter, which is actually even just the introduction to the book, talks all about, and by the way, I didn't get past the introduction before this idea came up because they spent the entire introduction talking about how fighting against your environment is absolutely toxic to fixing whatever it is that you're trying to fix with willpower. And I love this because I have been very sensitive my entire life to my own, let's call it laziness. And you may think, Lynn Marie, you're not lazy, you've done all these things. Yes, but I have also followed the advice of somebody who gave me this nice little lavalier mic that I'm using to hopefully let you hear me better than usual on lives. It's Dr. John C. Lynn from Sunrise Urology in Gilbert, Arizona. But I've known him for years, and he had this min-max theory, which was get the maximum amount of benefit out of the minimum amount of effort. And I think I was 20 when he told me that, and I have always followed that. I followed that, I think, before, but I didn't necessarily know about the cute title he had given it. And I live in that world because I only have so much energy to do whatever it is I'm doing, podcast, book, doctoring, all these things. I don't want to expend extra energy having to overcome obstacles in my environment. So I have set up my environment in a way that supports the life I want to live. And for all of those of you who are trying to make a quit, I would advise you do the same thing. So I'll give you an example from my own life. As those of you who are watching this live can see, I am surrounded by guitars, and I guess you can only see two of them. There's guitars and basses. There's a third one on the wall. There are bass guitars on a wall you can't see. And they are all essentially within like 3 steps of where I spend most of my time sitting. Because I know if I had to go find a guitar or a bass, get it out of its case, put the case away, bring it out, hook it up, I wouldn't do it. What you can't see, well, might as well just turn the camera so you can see, the bass that I play most often is hanging up, hooked up on the wall. Like it is already ready to be played. The strap is still on it. Like all I have to do is literally pick it up, put it on, hit one switch on the amp, and I can start playing. The barrier to entry for me playing the bass, for me practicing the bass is so low, it is criminal that I don't do it more often, let's be honest. But we all have seasons, right? Right now, focusing on this stuff. But when I want to play, when somebody comes over to jam, it is 2 seconds between me wanting to and me starting to play that bass. And for whatever it is for you, set up your environment in a way that it fosters whatever that is you're trying to do. So say you're trying to quit junk food. Well, this is the no-brainer you've probably heard a million times, which is do not have junk food in your house. You cannot eat what you do not have hanging around. If your barrier to eating the junk food is you have to go buy it, you're probably not going to do it. You're probably much less frequently going to be consuming junk food if it takes you walking out, getting in your car, going to the store, getting it, than if it's just already in your pantry. And another place that this comes up is with your friend circle. So if you are trying to make a quit, maybe you're trying to quit your job and do like a side hustle, and you're in a friend group that does not support it, that becomes part of your environment. And your environment may be filled with naysayers and people who are not on the same path you are. And so they may be kind of either trying to hold you back or just not offering the support that they should be. Well, maybe you have to quit that environment and set yourself up with an environment of supportive people because they're out there. And unfortunately, the reality may be that they're not out there in your city or in your block or anywhere near you. But as a lot of entrepreneur types will tell you, they're out there online. And, it's not quite like being able to go out and hang out in person with the people that you know, but having a supportive online group is certainly better than nothing and definitely more helpful than an in-person group that isn't supporting whatever your passion is. So think about what it is for you. If you're trying to start a good habit like journaling, set up your environment to where your journal is sitting next to the place you spend a lot of time. And even more so, get one you like. Do not do this thing that I did most of my life. Even though I knew, okay, let me set up my environment in a good way, I would be really cheap about it. Okay, I'm going to journal. What's like the cheapest journal I can find? Well, then would I enjoy journaling when I would look at this kind of evidence of that I didn't really respect myself enough to get like a nicer journal? Like here's a back of a napkin, right on that. No, another part of setting up your environment is setting up your environment that shows you believe in yourself, that you value yourself. I'm not saying spend $100 on a journal, but I'm saying if you're trying to quit a thing, like maybe you're trying to quit the junk food thing, well then invest a little bit more money on some really nice health food foods that you enjoy eating while you're making the transition, so that there's like that second feedback. First, you don't have the junk food around, and second, what you do have around, you look at, you're like, wow, I am worthy of a healthy diet. Look at this good quality food I have to eat. And if you're trying to start a habit like journaling, look, I've got this nice journal I'm going to use, or get a meditation app that you really like. Like, good habits shouldn't be torturous, you know? Find something that works for you, that's going to fit in your environment. Don't set your environment up to struggle against things. And all these are going to have this snowball effect of being easy for you and feeding back into the mechanism that you are worthy. You deserve quitting what isn't working for you and finding something that is. All right. Anything else that you guys would like to hear about, I would love to hear. Please leave it in the comments. These are now officially, at least for the time being, becoming podcast episodes. So if you miss any of these quits of the week and you don't go to YouTube and get them, you can at some point in time probably hear them on Quit Happens. So go ahead and subscribe to Quit Happens, like my buddy Josh Trent just put in the in the comments. And hello, John Lynn. It's great to see you here. I'm glad the audio sounds good. I'm loving this new mic. Thank you so much. And for everybody else, until next time, happy quitting.